The call came on a Tuesday afternoon during my fourth round of chemotherapy. I was sitting in the infusion center at Memorial Cancer Center, watching the 4 drips slowly push medicine through my veins, when Dad's name appeared on my phone. Amanda, thank God you answered. Hi Dad. What's up? It's Tom. He needs surgery immediately. Appendicitis turned into some kind of infection. The doctors say it's life-threatening. Tom was my younger brother, 28 years old, married with twin 2-year-olds. The golden child who'd never faced a serious problem in his life. Dad, that sounds serious. Is he going to be okay? The doctors say yes, but the surgery costs $50,000. His insurance won't cover it all, something about it being experimental treatment. I felt the familiar weight of family financial crises settling on my shoulders. For 10 years I'd been the family's emergency fund. The successful sister who could solve problems with a check. Dad, I can't help with that right now. Amanda, what do you mean you can't help? This is your brother. I mean I can't help financially right now. Why not? You always help with family emergencies. I looked around the infusion center. Other patients were sleeping, reading, or quietly talking with family members who'd come to support them. I was alone, handling a family crisis while poison dripped into my bloodstream to kill the cancer trying to kill me. Dad, I'm dealing with my own medical situation right now. Your own medical situation? Amanda, what's more important than saving your brother's life? Dad. Amanda, this is $50,000. Tom could die. I understand that it's serious, Dad. But I can't write that check right now. You can't or you won't? I can't. Amanda, you make more money than the rest of us combined. You live alone, you don't have kids. What could you possibly be spending money on that's more important than your brother's life? What I was spending money on was my own life. Stage 3 breast cancer treatment that had already cost me over $200,000 in the past 6 months. Surgery, chemotherapy, radiation, medications, specialists, second opinions. My insurance was good, but the experimental treatments and out-of-network specialists added up quickly. But my family didn't know about the cancer. I'd made the decision early on not to tell them, partly because I didn't want to be treated like a victim, and partly because I knew they'd find a way to make my illness about them. Dad, I'm going through something right now that requires all my financial resources. What could you possibly be going through that costs $50,000? Dad, I can't discuss it right now. Can't or won't. Amanda, your brother is dying and you're worried about some personal expense. Dad, please lower your voice. I'm in a public place. I don't care where you are. Tom needs surgery. The nurse, Janet, looked over with concern. I'd been coming to the infusion center twice a week for 3 months, and she'd never seen me take a stressful phone call during treatment. Dad, I have to go. Amanda, don't you dare hang up on me. Tom is your family. I'm aware that Tom is my family. Then act like it. Write the check. Dad, I can't write that check. You're selfish. You've always been selfish. You make all this money and you can't help your own brother. I hung up. Janet came over immediately. Honey, are you okay? Your blood pressure monitor is beeping. Family drama, I said quietly. My brother needs emergency surgery and they want me to pay for it. During your chemo session? Who calls someone during chemo to ask for money? People who don't know you're having chemo. They don't know about your treatment? I haven't told them. Janet looked shocked. Amanda, you've been fighting cancer for 6 months. How do they not know? Because I decided not to tell them. Why? I thought about it. Because this would happen. They'd find a way to make my cancer about their problems. Honey, your family should be supporting you right now, not asking you for money. My family sees me as the successful sister who solves problems. They don't see me as someone who might have problems of her own. Janet shook her head. That's not right. An hour later my phone rang again. Dad. Amanda, I'm sorry I yelled. But Tom really needs this surgery. Dad, I understand that Tom needs surgery. Then you'll help. Dad, I told you I can't help right now. Amanda, what's going on with you? You've never refused to help family before. I've never been in this situation before. What situation? I watched the last of the chemotherapy drug drip into my foreline. In a few minutes, I'd be done with treatment number 4 of 12. Each session brought me closer to remission, but also closer to the financial reality of what beating cancer costs. Dad, I'm fighting for my life right now. Fighting for your life? Amanda, what does that mean? It means exactly what it sounds like. Amanda, are you in some kind of trouble? Legal trouble? Financial trouble? Medical trouble, Dad? There was silence on the other end. Medical trouble? Yes. Amanda, what kind of medical trouble? The kind that costs a lot of money and requires all my attention. Amanda, are you sick? I hesitated. Once I told him there would be no going back. My private battle would become family knowledge, and family knowledge had a way of becoming family drama. Amanda? Are you sick? Stat. I'm sick. How sick? Very sick. Amanda, what's wrong with you? I have cancer, Dad. The silence that followed was deafening. You have cancer? Stage 3 breast cancer. I've been in treatment for 6 months. 6 months? Amanda, why didn't you tell us? Because I wanted to handle it privately. Handle it privately? Amanda, you're our daughter. You should have told us immediately. Dad, you just called me selfish for not giving Tom $50,000 while I was literally receiving chemotherapy. You were getting chemo when I called? I'm getting chemo right now, Dad. Oh my God. Amanda, I had no idea. I know you had no idea. That's why I didn't want to tell you. Amanda, how much has your treatment cost? So far. About $200,000. $200,000? $200,000. With more to come. Amanda, why didn't you ask us for help? Dad, you just screamed at me for not giving Tom $50,000. When exactly was I supposed to ask the family for $200,000? That's different. How is it different? Because you're family. We would have helped you. With what money, Dad? You just told me Tom needs $50,000 for surgery that you can't afford. Dad was quiet for a moment. Amanda, we would have found a way. The same way you're finding a way to pay for Tom's surgery? Amanda, that's not fair. Dad, what's not fair is calling your daughter selfish while she's getting cancer treatment. I didn't know. Because you didn't ask. You assumed that because I make good money, I don't have any problems of my own. Amanda, I'm so sorry. Dad, I need to focus on my treatment right now. Of course. Amanda, forget about Tom's surgery. We'll figure something else out. Actually, Dad, don't worry about Tom's surgery. What do you mean? I mean it's already taken care of. Taken care of how? Dad, what hospital is Tom at? Memorial Hospital. Why? I smiled. Memorial Hospital, where I'd been receiving cancer treatment for 6 months. Where I'd gotten to know the staff, the social workers, and the financial assistance programs. Dad, which surgeon is doing Tom's operation? Dr. Martinez. Amanda, how do you know about Memorial Hospital? Because that's where I've been getting my cancer treatment, Dad. Your cancer treatment is at Memorial? My cancer treatment is at Memorial. And so is Tom's surgery. Amanda. Dad, when you get to the hospital, ask the financial office about Tom's surgery bill. Why? Just ask them. I hung up and turned to Janet, who had been pretending not to listen. Janet, can you call the financial office and tell them that Amanda Martinez wants to cover the Peterson surgery bill for Tom Martinez? The appendectomy with complications? That's the one. Amanda, that's your brother? That's my brother. The one whose father just screamed at you for being selfish? The same one. Honey, why would you pay for his surgery after the way your father treated you? Because Tom didn't call me selfish. Tom doesn't even know about this conversation. And Tom doesn't deserve to suffer because Dad handled the situation badly. You're paying $50,000 for your brother's surgery while you're fighting cancer? Janet, I've been paying for family emergencies for 10 years. Tom's college tuition, Mom's car repairs, Dad's business loans. This is just another family emergency. But you're sick. Being sick doesn't change the fact that Tom needs surgery. It just changes whether I can afford to pay for it quietly or loudly. What's the difference? When I pay for things quietly, I get to choose how much family drama gets involved. When I can't pay for things, the drama chooses me. Janet shook her head. Your family has no idea how lucky they are to have you. They're about to find out. 2 hours later, my phone rang. Dad's number, but he was crying so hard I could barely understand him. Amanda? Amanda, I'm so sorry. Dad, what's wrong? I'm at the hospital. I talked to the financial office about Tom's surgery. And they said it's already been paid for. That's good news. Amanda, they said it was paid for by someone named Amanda Martinez. Amanda, is there something you want to tell me? What would you like to know, Dad? Amanda, did you pay for Tom's surgery? Yes. While you were getting chemotherapy? Yes. While I was screaming at you for being selfish? Yes. Amanda, why would you do that? Because Tom needed surgery and I could afford to pay for it. But I yelled at you. Dad, you yelled at me because you were scared about Tom and frustrated about money. You didn't yell at me because you're a bad person. Amanda, you paid $50,000 for Tom's surgery after I called you selfish. I paid $50,000 for Tom's surgery because he's my brother and he needed help. While you're fighting cancer. Dad, fighting cancer doesn't change the fact that I love my family. Amanda, how can you afford Tom's surgery and your cancer treatment? Because I've been successful in my career and I've been saving money for emergencies. This successful? Successful enough. Amanda, I feel terrible. Dad, don't feel terrible. Feel grateful that Tom's going to be okay. I do feel grateful. But Amanda, I also feel like the worst father in the world. Why? Because my daughter has been fighting cancer alone for 6 months, and instead of supporting her, I called her selfish for not giving money to her brother. Dad, you didn't know about the cancer. I should have known something was wrong. I should have asked how you were doing instead of just asking what you could do for us. Should have, could have, would have. Tom's surgery is paid for and that's what matters right now. Amanda, can I ask you something? Sure. How many family emergencies have you paid for over the years? I thought about it. Dad, do you really want to know? Yes. Tom's college tuition when he couldn't get enough financial aid. Mom's car when the transmission died. Your business loan when the bank rejected you. Kevin's wedding when he went over budget. Ashley's down payment when she couldn't qualify for the full mortgage. How much total? Over 10 years. About $300,000. $300,000? $300,000. Amanda, we had no idea. I know you had no idea. I didn't tell you the amounts because I didn't want you to feel bad about asking for help. And now you're fighting cancer. Now I'm fighting cancer and I'm still helping family when they need it. Amanda, you shouldn't have to carry all of us. Dad, I don't carry all of you. I help when there are emergencies because I can afford to help. But who helps you? I help myself, Dad. That's not right. It's not right or wrong, Dad. It's just how things worked out. Amanda, what can we do? How can we help you? You can stop calling me selfish when I'm trying to manage my own crisis. Never again. Amanda, I promise never again. And you can understand that sometimes when I say I can't help with something, it might be because I'm dealing with something bigger. I understand. And Dad. Yes. You can stop assuming that because I make good money I don't have problems of my own. Amanda, we'll never make that assumption again. 3 days later, Tom was out of surgery and recovering well. Dad drove down to visit me during my next chemotherapy session. Amanda, I brought you something. He handed me a card signed by the entire family, Mom, Tom, Ashley, Kevin, even the grandkids. What's this? It's an apology. From all of us. I opened the card. Inside was a check for $50,000 and a note. Amanda, we know this doesn't come close to covering your medical expenses, but it's everything we could pool together from the whole family. We're sorry it took us so long to realize that you might need help too. We love you. Your family. Dad, you didn't have to do this. Yes, we did. Amanda, you've been taking care of this family for 10 years. It's time we started taking care of you. I don't need you to take care of me financially. Maybe not. But you need us to take care of you emotionally. And we haven't been doing that. Janet came over to check my for. Mr. Martinez? You must be Amanda's father. I am. She talks about you sometimes during her treatments. She does. She talks about all of you. How proud she is of Tom's new job, how excited she is about Ashley's kids, how much she misses family dinners because she's too tired from chemo to drive that far. Dad looked surprised. She misses family dinners? Every week. She always asks me to pray for her family during treatment. Never asks me to pray for herself, just for her family. She prays for us? Every session. Please keep Tom safe. Please help Mom with her arthritis. Please let Dad's business do well. I finally had to start praying for Amanda myself because she wouldn't ask for prayers for her own healing. Dad started tearing up. Amanda, you've been carrying all of us even while you're sick. Dad, that's what family does. No, Amanda. What family does is carry each other. We've been letting you carry us without carrying you back. Dad. Amanda, things are going to be different now. Different how? Different because now we know that our successful sister who solves everyone's problems is also our sister who's fighting for her life and needs support. I am getting support. I have good doctors, good insurance. Amanda, when's the last time someone in the family asked how you were doing instead of asking what you could do for us? I thought about it. I don't remember. That changes now. Over the next 8 months as I completed chemotherapy and moved into remission, my family transformed. They started visiting during treatments. They brought meals when I was too tired to cook. They took turns driving me to appointments. But most importantly, they stopped seeing me as the family ATM and started seeing me as the family member who might need support too. Tom recovered fully from his surgery. When he found out I'd paid for it, he insisted on setting up a payment plan to pay me back. I told him the money was a gift, but he said accepting a gift like that while his sister was fighting cancer would make him feel terrible. Tom, you don't have to pay me back. Amanda, you paid for my surgery while you were getting chemo. The least I can do is take financial responsibility for my own medical bills. But you didn't ask me to pay for it. Dad called and asked. And I should have told Dad we'd find another way instead of letting him pressure you. Tom, you were unconscious during most of this conversation. That's not the point, Amanda. The point is that I'm a grown man with a family, and I should be solving my own problems instead of letting my sick sister solve them for me. 6 months later, Tom had paid me back in full. Not because I needed the money, but because he needed to feel like he was contributing to solutions instead of just creating problems. The cancer taught my family an important lesson about assumptions. They'd assumed that because I was successful and single, I didn't have problems that required support. They'd assumed that because I could afford to help them, I didn't need help myself. But most importantly, they learned that being the family problem solver doesn't mean you don't have problems of your own. Dad never again asked me for money without first asking how I was doing. Mom started calling just to check in, not because she needed something. Tom and Ashley began contributing to a family emergency fund so they wouldn't need to rely on me for every crisis. The phone call during chemotherapy became a turning point for all of us. Not just because they learned about my cancer, but because they learned about the weight I'd been carrying alone. Now when there's a family emergency, we handle it as a family. Sometimes I contribute more because I can afford to, but I'm no longer the automatic solution to every problem. And when I have problems of my own, I'm no longer fighting them alone. The best part about beating cancer wasn't just getting healthy. It was discovering that my family was capable of being a real support system instead of just a collection of people who needed support. Sometimes the most generous thing you can do is teach people that you're not just a resource to be used, but a person who deserves care and support too. Dad learned that lesson the hard way during a phone call that will probably haunt him for the rest of his life. But he learned it, and that made all the difference.